Religious Haters, number 108. Welcome back. Today we'll be looking at the Gospels of Matthew and Mark to see how Jesus responded to religious haters. So let's get started. Matthew 16 verses 1 to 4. Mark 8 verses 11 to 13. Then the Pharisees and Sadducees came and began to argue with Jesus and test him by demanding him to show them a sign from heaven. Jesus sighed deeply in his spirit and said, "Why does this generation demand a sign? When evening comes, you say, 'The weather will be fair, for the sky is red.' And in the morning, 'Today it will be stormy, for the sky is red and overcast.' You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but not the signs of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation demands a sign. Truly I tell you, no sign will be given to this generation except the sign of Jonah." And he left them, got back into the boat, and crossed to the other side. My thoughts. Jesus took a lot of heat from the religious leaders of the day. They were constantly bringing accusations and badgering him for signs that would give them clear authentication that he had authority to do and say the things he did and said. These attacks started pretty early in Jesus' ministry. But why? Why so much hate for a simple carpenter turned rabbi with a following of common people? Here's some of the things we pick up from the scriptures about these religious leaders. They were jealous, John 7 verses 48 to 49. They were envious, Matthew 27 verse 18, Mark 15 verse 10. He was a threat to their authority, John 7 verses 48 to 49. He violated their traditions, Matthew 15 verses 1 to 9. He caused Sabbath controversies, John 5 verse 18. He claimed divine sonship, John 5 verse 18. He performed miracles, John 11 verse 53, John 12 verses 10 to 11. They were suppressing the truth, Romans 1 verse 18. He called out their hypocrisy, Matthew 23 verses 13 to 36. They did not understand the scriptures, 1 Peter 2 verse 7, Matthew 21 verse 42, John 5 verse 39. They feared losing their position, John 11 verse 48. He associated with sinners, Matthew 9 verse 11. They thought he was in league with Satan, Matthew 12 verse 24. That's quite the list. As a disciple maker, have you ever met resistance like any mentioned above? And here's the real kicker. Have you ever caused harm to a brother or sister with the kind of weapons mentioned above? When we read the accounts of Jesus and his disciples in the New Testament, it always seems like it's the religious that are doing the most harm. It's almost like you need to fear the insiders more than the outsiders. Jesus gave ample warning. If they persecute me, they will persecute you. Matthew 10 verse 22, Luke 21 verse 12, John 15 verse 20. But in our zeal, we need to be careful that we are not the ones doing the persecuting. As we used to say in the army, friendly fire ain't so friendly. My story, continuing with this line of thinking, I can also say social media ain't so social. I am shocked how Christian people feel the freedom to spew anger, hate, and bitterness, and over the smallest issues. Instead of dialogue, we've chosen to judge the whole person's character by sound bites. I've been the recipient of such harsh criticism for doing church in a home. Really? Are we going to go to war with a brother over that? Now, to be sure, there are some things on social media that are way out there and some downright heresy. But does that give us the freedom to load both verbal barrels and open fire? I see a lot of that when we should seek to understand first, lovingly correct in private second, and try to bring people back to central truths by pointing them to the Bible. I don't want to fall into the trap of being angry at angry people. But I just see so much anger out there that something needs to be said. Let's talk, discuss, dialogue, and try to bring the truth and love as the first move instead of being uncharitable, spiteful, or even cruel. Our action plan. Now it's time for application. Here's some ideas. Look back at your social media posts. Were you mean-spirited in any of them? Do you need to apologize? Look at the posts of those you are discipling. Is correction needed? War game with those you are discipling, how to correct someone in love. As followers of Jesus, let's ensure our actions and words reflect his love, especially when engaging with others, whether online or in person. Let's strive to speak the truth in love, Seek understanding first, and avoid becoming the very source of harm we aim to stand against, remembering that our ultimate goal is to glorify God by becoming like His Son.